What's really happening in the real estate market? We're gonna talk about that right now. It's Alex Fung here, Daryl King team, Remax Hallmark. I just wanna wish you guys Happy New Year. Hope you guys are doing very well. Hope you got to celebrate with your family and friends. And so let's just dive right into the real estate market, okay? So before we do, it's good to put into perspective, how is the real estate market compared to the stock market and the crypto market? And the good thing and the good news I have for you is that it actually outperformed both of those asset classes quite considerably. The stock market actually in the same time period of January 2022 versus January 2023, it actually dropped by over 34%, okay? And in the crypto market, it actually dropped by 78%. So it's all about perspective here, okay? How have we done versus the other two, okay? Now, the other aspect that we need to consider is the foreign buyer ban, okay, introduced by the federal government. So starting in January, okay, foreigners are not able to buy homes for up to 2 years, okay? And, you know, there's not a lot of comment about that from the government, okay? But because it's Ontario and based on, you know, there's lots of immigration that happens here, a record breaking, okay? Last year we had over 400,000 immigrants coming to Canada, okay? So it's very interesting to see what's happening, okay? And the second thing that we need to think about too, though, is how, as an investor and as a foreigner, there are ways to get around the foreign buyer ban, okay? Before I begin though, I'm not a lawyer or an accountant, but based on my interpretation from, you know, the website and what they're saying is that you can get around that as a corporation, right? If the Canadian majority holder owns a corporation as a foreigner, you can buy a home. But that leads to the second hurdle, which is the provincial government, where they introduced a 25% foreign buyer tax. So, you know, you may still have to pay that tax, and, you know, as an investor, that might not be the best for you, right? You might look at other provinces, you might want to look at other countries, okay? So it is expected for the market to continue to cool down, okay? So one of the things that we need to look at too is the interest rates. Are they going to go up? Now, there's lots of mixed feelings about that, okay? Desjardins says that it's going to stay the same, and TD believes it's going to go up on January 25th. So nobody really knows what's happening, okay? Before, you know, the rate hikes, the interest rates were pretty much free, right? It was free money. It was 0.25, okay? Now it's about 4.25. So that's a big increase in such a very short period of time, okay, within that year. So are homeowners struggling right now? The ones that purchased homes and, you know, in February, you know, March, they are feeling the crunch, okay? They're seeing their mortgage payments, especially if they got a variable rate, they're feeling the pinch. Okay, now, before we really dive into the numbers here, we need to think about, you know, if you've done any home improvements, any upgrades, your location, any local amenities. These factors really affect the type of the prices on your home, okay? And so every neighborhood is very unique. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, but let's just get right into it. All right, so let's just dive into the Richmond Hill real estate markets. So December, 101 transactions versus 144 the month before, okay? And when it comes to all-time highs, 207. That's a 51% decrease, okay? And in terms of the year-to-year basis, it's 214. So there's more homes that sold actually a year ago versus February, okay? In terms of the number of homes available to purchase, there's only 261 versus 372 the month before. So what's happening is homeowners are actually taking it off the market, the homes, or they're just not deciding to list, okay? But if you compare that number versus December of 2021, there's still more listings available, okay? 92% more homes. So as a buyer, there's more room to negotiate in terms of price. You know, you have contingencies such as, you know, inspection and also financing. Things that you didn't have the luxury of doing back in February, okay? Even December. So in terms of the average prices, right? It dropped by 19% if you compare high to all-time highs, but on a month-to-month basis, it did actually go up by 2%, okay? And if you're looking at pre-pandemic numbers, you're still up 20%, okay? In terms of the type of market rate, it stayed relatively the same, okay? 2.58. And what this is doing is we're comparing the number of transactions versus the number of homes that are available. And it's still a seller's market, guys. Do not tell me or if someone tells you that it's a buyer's market, don't believe them. Just show them this video, right? Because if it's anything less than 5 is a seller's market, okay? From 5 to 6 is a balanced market. And from 6 onwards, it's actually a buyer's market, okay? And you know, a lot of people get that confused, even agents, okay? Now, it's still a seller's market now, but if you compare it to February, that was more of a seller's market. It's 0.77. So within that time period, you know, 10 months is 234% swing, okay? Now, don't get me wrong, it is taking longer to sell homes, okay? If you compare it on a December to December basis, it took an additional 13 days to sell a home, okay? So let's just dive into the actual detached. So in terms of detaches in Richmond Hill, there's 46 transactions versus 59. And in terms of active listings, right, 114 versus 178. And what I've been noticing too is that a lot of different cities and municipalities, a lot of homeowners are doing that, right? So whether it's Vaughan, Markham, you know, Aurora, people are taking their homes off the market. And so that's why the average price actually went up on a month-to-month basis of 1.93 million versus 1.84 million. Okay. Now, not to say that, you know, prices have gone up consistently. If you look at the all-time high of February, is 2.15 million. So that's a 10% decrease within 10 months. Okay. Now, if you look at the type of market, again, it's still a seller's market. Everyone still wants to live in Richmond Hill. And if you compare that though to pre-pandemic numbers, right, that was more of a heading towards more of a balanced market, but compared now, it's still a seller's market though, okay? So it's taking 28 days to sell a home in December versus 21 on a month-to-month basis, and only 9 days in February, okay? Good thing to note though, in Richmond Hill, detaches 2019, it took 50 days to sell detached. Okay, now it's taking 28 days, despite the prices being higher as well now. So for semis, there's not a lot of figures that happen, not a lot of transactions. So I gotta warn you that the numbers here may be skewed, right? Whether a builder knocked down a house and they just rebuilt it, lots of finishes, and you know, so a lot of numbers can be skewed here. Okay, so 5 versus 5 transactions. Okay, number of listings available, 7 versus 13. And the type of market, it's still a seller's market, and there's only it only took 7 days to sell. Okay, so they may have been more of a motivated seller is what I'm gathering from this. And if you compare to the peak, obviously you can't compare, but it did take the same amount of time to sell a home in Richmond Hill for a semi-detached, which is why I'm saying is those sellers are very motivated, and the homeowners, the home buyers should be very happy about that. Now you look at the townhouses. December 2022, 12 transactions versus 28. Okay, a 57% decrease. But if you look at on a yearly basis, 34 transactions. So that's a 65% decrease, okay? Not that much more so in the peak, which was 39 transactions. So still a 70% decrease, don't get me wrong, it's still massive. And you look at number of listings though, this is what's very interesting here, okay? I want to bring your attention, which is the active listings. There are only 5 properties available now versus even the peak of February, 37. So what people are doing that own these homes is they're deciding to hold on and not selling, or they decide to take them homes off the market. That's what's happening, okay? And so it's still a seller's market for Richmond Hill Townhouse. It's very important to note because it's absolutely crazy to notice too, because February was 0.95 and now it's 0.42. Okay, but if you look at it on a year-to-year basis, it's still more of a seller's market back in 2021, okay, of 0.12. In terms of days on market, it's taking a lot longer to sell now versus, you know, a month ago, February, December of 2021, but it is quicker to sell compared to pre-pandemic, which took 29 days, all right? Moving on to the condo townhouses in Richmond Hill. Again, same thing, same disclaimer, not a lot of transactions that happen, so the numbers may be skewed, okay? So 4 transactions, 4 listings available, $817,000 in terms of average price. In terms of type of market, still a seller's market, and it took the same amount of time to sell a home in December versus November. Okay, but it still took 9 additional days to sell compared to a year-to-year basis. Okay. Last but definitely not least, the Condo Apartments in Richmond Hill. It stayed relatively similar, 34 transactions versus 32 month-to-month basis. Okay, but it still sold, February had 90 transactions. Okay. Now in terms of active listings, 93 homes are available. Okay, compared to a month before, 126. And February they had only 42. Okay, so again, if you're looking to move, you're currently renting, but you want to buy a condo apartment, or you're looking to invest and rent it out, now you have more options. Okay, and prices have dropped on a year-to-year basis by 6%. Okay, February, 20%. In terms of days on market, it is taking 27 days versus 28, and February obviously took only 7 days. Okay, they're selling hotcakes. So if you find this information useful, please let me know. Share it, like it, subscribe, and talk to you again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.